Hey, thanks for joining. Today, we are going to be taking a look at our best job posting software and tools and take a deep dive into some of my favorite recommendations. Now, if you're not familiar with job posting software or tools, don't worry. We're going to be taking a quick look at what that is before we dive into some of the top platforms that I recommend taking a look at. Now, a lot of organizations make use of job posting tools like this to help save time and reduce overheads by posting to multiple job boards simultaneously with a single click. This also helps you reach a far wider pool of candidates really quickly. So it is recommended that you do make use of tools like this to help enable that process. Now, a lot of these tools do have branded career pages. Again, I recommend looking at tools that help you create this really easily within the platform. It will also bring candidates to your careers page and enhance your employer branding. Now, a lot of these software tools do have a kind of CRM or a candidate management portion where you can house a lot of documentation and any important information within the tool itself. Now, as we grow towards a time of worrying about candidate information protection and general people information protection, this is going to become ever more important. So, do make use of tools like this to help you manage this process. Now, you'll also need to keep in mind that a lot of these tools do have reporting functionalities within the platforms. Some of them do better with it than others. Some others do focus on this primarily as one of their main features. So it is important to look out for this and decide whether it's something that is important for you versus other features within the various platforms. Now, I also recommend looking for tools like this that help you communicate with your candidates within the app. So instead of having recruiters or hiring managers spending a lot of time communicating with candidates via telephone or manually via email, via personal email, you do want to make use of tools like this that help automate that process. So keep that in mind when we're looking at some of the features. Now, some of the features I recommend looking out for is a user-friendly interface and a short learning curve. Super important for me, super important for your teams to make sure that the adoption is as high as possible and you're not spending a lot of time trading and upskilling people when all you want to be doing is looking at spending time on job postings and shortlisting your applicants. As mentioned, look out for those built-in communication tools. Some of the platforms do have SMS capabilities. Others focus on things like email primarily. Keep in mind that you need to find the best fit for your business and what you're looking for. Again, you want to look at application management. So, are you able to move your candidates through various workflows? How easy is it to do it? And do you have any specific workflow requirements? Again, some of these tools have that kind of capability, others don't. But overall, do focus on other important things as well, such as mobile friendly sites for both candidates or applicants and your hiring team. You do want to make sure that first and foremost, as a job posting software, that you've got job board syndication with a number of popular job boards. It can become really costly and really time consuming to try and manage this yourself. I've been there. If you are creating a single job application, job adverts, and requiring that you post these manually to various job boards, that can become really cumbersome and can cost a lot of money. Now, as mentioned, try look for those applicant tracking software or job posting software that has a careers page built into it. Again, saving you a lot of time and making sure that you have a clean, professional, and polished career site available for your candidates to make sure that they know that they're going to the right place and can also feel assured in their application process. Now, another one is look at affordable pricing plans. Now, this is really important because the various software tools that we'll be looking at today do have very wide ranges of price points. However, they do come with various different features. So it is important to remember if you are cost conscious or perhaps if you're needing the Rolls Royce of systems, that you keep us in mind when looking at various software tools. Now, let's take a quick walkthrough and dive into some of my favorite tools that I've used. The first one we're going to be looking at is Lever by Employ. Now, really, really great tool. I quite like them. They are a little on the costly side, so I do want to just start with that. However, if you need something that serves as a CRM and an integrated applicant tracking system all in one, this is a really great tool for you so that you can see that they do focus primarily on applicant tracking itself and recruitment in its entirety. So some of the things that I quite liked that Lever does is it does integrate with things like assessment tools. So you can see here that they do include that within their site. Um, I also quite like that they've got another portion of integration features like e-signing, for example. They do have background checks. They integrate with HRIS or HR information systems as well. So that if that is something that is important to you, I would recommend having a look at Lever. It's really great. And they also plug into a payroll, which not all of these systems do. So if that is important to you and your HR team and you're needing a bit of an all-in-one solution, they are not a bad platform to have a look at. Now, they've also got quite strong reporting capabilities. So that's quite a big draw card in terms of Lever itself. Um, and not all of the ATS softwares that I looked at do focus on this as much. However, they do spend quite a bit of time in terms of their features and looking at things like performance as well. So that is something that I think that they do stand out in. Now, in terms of overall collaboration, I really like that everyone can easily stay on top of shared information. Really great, simple, easy to use. Um, Now, I would say that they're probably recommended for larger companies. And especially if you don't need something like a really advanced CRM system, probably not the best fit for you. So, again, have a look at their site, see if it may be a good fit for you and possibly have a look at them. Now, in terms of costing, they are not that transparent on their website. They do include some information in terms of what their core offering does include, but at a price quote specifically that you'll need to request from them. Previously, when I've looked at this, the plans usually started around about $3,000 to $5,000 per annum for small companies. So it can be quite costly when you're comparing that to other platforms that I've used in the past. Now, another one, a really great option for small to medium-sized businesses is Greenhouse. I do see quite a lot of information about Greenhouse on various platforms. So if you're looking for hiring software or ATSs, job posting software, you'll see Greenhouse is quite popular. And it's on my shortlist because it is one of the better ones. Now, much like Lever, they do not disclose their pricing plans. And again, because it's quite expensive, I'll be honest, starting at around about $6,500 a year for really small companies of like 1 to 10 employees. So they are on the costly side in terms of the platform itself. They do have a number of solutions in place. So again, looking at more advanced features quite a lot in terms of things like scalable workflows. Now, if you're a smaller company, you've got really minimal hiring needs, this is probably going to be overkill for you, both in terms of pricing and features. So I would recommend having a look and seeing if this is the right fit for you. They do have additional onboarding. They do have quite rich integrations as well. So again, look at the tools and see if those features make sense for you and your organization. So if you don't need integration capabilities and you don't need a lot of these advanced features, again, may not be the best for you. However, if you are looking for a bit of an all-in-one that focuses heavily on candidate management in terms of workflows, um, you're also able to handle things like interviews, offer letters, again, centralized feedback. They do spend a lot of time focusing on the capabilities around that. So, good fit in terms of that. Now, at the steeper price point, I thought tools like this would probably be a little bit more seamless I feel like they haven't gotten this quite right just yet. So there are things like these standard templates that come along with Greenhouse that I'd be looking at having something a bit more user friendly, a little bit more diverse in terms of service offering. Hopefully they get this right down the line. Um, and another one, I would also expect things like templates for offer letters. They're not able to, for example, handle multi-currency inputs within offer letters. So again, at this price point, I do want to see a little bit more. However, overall, really great and a really popular tool for a reason. So have a look at them if that might be something for you. All right, another one of the smaller, I'm going to say almost lesser known ones is Manital. Now, this is really great all round for small companies or even recruitment agencies. I've got a little demo account here so we can have a quick look at Manital. I would say in terms of what they do and how the tool operates is very basic. So I think even just at a glance, you can see it's very elementary. It's very basic. But not bad in terms of what they offer. I was quite pleasantly surprised. Now, I always lean towards tools that will give me a free trial. I think that's open and honest of them. So I'd recommend giving them a spin if you're not sure about what you need in terms of information. However, overall, at a glance, not bad dashboarding at all. It took honestly minutes to get started. They have a very quick and basic guided onboarding. So although it's super basic, it actually takes you around the platform and helps you get set up in terms of things like departments, things like jobs. So you could add information here. You can create a department or various departments. And then you can just simply start loading your job adverts, which I quite like. So here I've loaded a job for a software engineer. Another tool that I do quite like for them is that you can actually upload or use a template to complete your job. So if you do have a number of templates that you need to upload, you're able to actually do that from the system. And the same would be applicable for creating candidates, which I really like. So you could actually just simply upload a resume. If you've got multiple resume uploads that you need to do, the system can handle that, or you can do an import or complete a very basic form. Um, one of the things I don't really like is that you can just add simple information. For example, we've just got a name, and you would continue with your candidate information, and it would simply load that. Not very useful. I'd want to see a bit more in terms of mandatory information. This is not helpful. You're going to get a lot of junk into the system and not much value out. However, it does what it needs to do at a very basic level, so it cannot really complain in terms of the usability of the system itself. Now, again, quite limited in terms of integration. So again, this is probably suited for much smaller organizations. So if you're needing to integrate with things like a larger HRIS or anything like that, I think look at other tools that are able to do that for you. And sometimes adding information here is a little bit basic and probably could do with a bit more features. They do have some basic level of reporting in place as well. So you would have seen on the dashboards, and you could also look at dashboards over time that can be created quite easily. So although it feels quite low tech, it's actually not bad at all. And also the pricing is super reasonable, which brings me to my next point. So starting as low as $15 per user per month, it does mean that you've got limited job slots. So keep that in mind. It is quite limited in terms of that costing, and it is per user per month. However, if you've got very limited hiring needs and you're just needing to get out a job advert once or twice a year or every few months, this is probably not a bad fit for you. Another one I'd recommend having a look at, we're not going to do too much of a deep dive into this, is Workable. Super user friendly. I really like Workable. It took minutes to set up. I do quite like that when you've gotten started and you are trialing their free version, you can make use of their sample data to set up your environment, which is really cool. So this gives you a quick overview of various jobs, some new hires, for example, They've got a lot of features within the system. So again, a bit more of a Rolls Royce in terms of all the various features. So you can handle things like jobs, candidates, but it's also got those add-ons like employee management, time off, additional information like that. If you don't need that kind of advanced usability and you just need a simple job posting, it can handle that really well for you. However, it is quite advanced. I do think that the learning curve on this tool is a little higher than your basic tools. So again, if you're looking for just a simple job posting software, this is probably going to be a little bit too much for you. However, you've got a lot of uh, additional features, like even things like multi-language support for job posts and applications. So awesome for international teams. However, if you're not even needing something that advanced, you probably won't need that kind of feature-rich platform like this. But overall, I think they're really great. In terms of what doesn't really work for me is that their pricing plans do include a minimal number of features. So if you're looking at additional add-ons, you're going to have to start paying for every single add-on, and it can become really expensive for smaller businesses. So keep that in mind when you're looking at this. Um, they are on the pricey side again. You'd have to get custom pricing from them, but overall, not a bad tool to have a look at. Now, let's have a look at my next tool here, which is Ninja Gig. I'm going to go straight to my job board here. One of the simplest tools I've used before. It takes just seconds to set up. I really like them. You do have a really great simple, clean dashboard, simple, clean UI. And even on the dashboard, which I quite like, is that you can actually click straight on the dashboard to go to your various candidates, for example, and it will just take you straight into your applications, which is quite cool. So I like anything that has clickability within the tool, that you don't have to try and spend hours figuring out how to post information or do anything. They do have quite a cool onboarding where they'll take you through your various steps to get used to the platform, which I really like. I think is quite cool, especially if you've got um, say new HR people who have not used a tool like this before. You'll be guided. They will help you create your first job opening, how to see your first job application, and go all the way through these various steps. You could do this all within a day, though. It's really super simple. And then you can handle your job openings. You can simply add your jobs, your information, and also make use of their templates, which I quite like. So you would have application filter ability here. You're also able to add your custom application questions, which are really important, especially when you're doing high volume recruitment. This makes it a really great tool for agencies as well. So smaller businesses, agencies, if you've got bulk hiring needs, this is probably one of the better tools to look at. And what I also like is that you can view your jobs on a branded career site, which they actually create for you. You can see how your job looks, and you can see various job openings here and what the candidates would see, which I think is really cool. So you can actually have a look and just see what a candidate would see when they apply for a job, as well as your application questions, which for me is really useful. I want to make sure my candidates are having a really good experience when they are applying. Now, they also give you some hints and helpful tips here for job success posting factors. They do integrate with a really wide range of job boards, which is a huge plus for me. They do integrate with Indeed, Jubal, Google Jobs, Monster, a whole lot more. Here's another ZipRecruiter, for example, so that you don't have to pay for these every single time. So again, a huge cost saving on a platform like this. Um, Really great overall, honestly. Look, some of the things like reporting, I do think are very basic. So you do have reporting capabilities, but it is really elementary. So if you're needing to view information like total turnaround time, for example, or from job start to finish sort of times or trends within your recruitment sphere, this is probably a bit too basic. However, they do have a lot of great features. And just yeah, to keep in mind that their pricing is excellent. So if you are looking at a really cost-effective tool like this that has unlimited job postings at $49 a month, it is probably the best priced job posting software that I've come across thus far. I might be wrong. Reach out to me if you know of others, but this is probably one of the most effective out there and super simple, super easy to use. Now, I hope my guide has helped you decide on some of the great job posting tools that you can have a look at and decide on your next decision. Thanks so much for joining